and welcome to video number 3 of the Modern Cardboard playlist for Pax Pamir 2nd edition. The first video was a how to play the multiplayer game. The second video is a how to add the Wakhan, which is an AI opponent, to your game so you can play solo or anytime you want. And this is a video where I'll play against the Wakhan, the AI opponent, in a full playthrough, and we'll see how I do. If you missed the first couple videos, I put the link to the playlist in the description of the video, and you can find it at the end of this video as well. So let's dive in. Alright, so we are set up and ready to begin. I have our market deck, and this is set up to play with the Wakhan, which the Wakhan player is over here. So this is the automated opponent, and this is my player area. So with that said, let's start, see what comes out into the market. A lot of Russian stuff out there. So I'm going to choose my loyalty next, and we'll go over to the loyalty dial here. And I think for this game, just with the Russian Patriots and all the prizes, I'm going to begin with my loyalty being loyal to Russian. Okay, so everything is set. If you haven't really seen the multiplayer game, I recommend that you go see that. However, just to kind of give an overview of what we start with, this is the Wakhan deck. This is for the AI opponent. The Wakhan takes the first turn of the game. We each start with 4 rupees. I have a loyalty dial. The Wakhan over here is loyal to every coalition, Russian, British, and Afghan. That's an advantage of the Wakhan. And then the Wakhan has 2 cards. This is a card priority, so when you have to select between more than one court card, this is the card you use. And then she's got a card that has our gift spaces on it, and it's just got some more instruction on how to play the Wakhan that I went over in the Wakhan video. The Wakhan takes the first turn of the game, so we'll flip over the Wakhan card. And so we start with the top action, and then go down this, I call this the action stack here. The Wakhan gets 2 actions per turn, just like we do, and then she can take as many bonus actions as she can from cards that match the favored suit. We'll get to that in a little bit, but she'll start with the top action and says, if Wakhan has fewer than 2 rupees, radicalize the card that will net the most rupees. She's got 4, she starts the game with 4, so we'll skip that action. Second one is build. That's a card-based action. She doesn't have any cards in her court, so she can't take that. And the third action then is radicalize. And radicalize takes the actions of purchase and play. It's an advanced action for the Wakhan that help the Wakhan kind of build her court very quickly, and it's almost like you're playing against 2 other players. So radicalize will get cards in her court very fast, a lot faster than it will for me. And like I say, it adds a little bit of strategy to the game, but the Wakhan makes some kind of stupid decisions that are not human-like, so this kind of compensates for some of the dumb decisions the Wakhan makes in strategy. So we radicalize. We look at the 2 arrows here. We have the black arrow and the red arrow. The black arrow tells us what column from the market we purchase from. The red arrow tells us what row. So we're going to look at column 3, bottom row. Let's go to the market. So in the market, if we look at column 3, bottom row, that is this card Ranjit Singh, which is a nice card from Punjab. So she's going to purchase that. She has 4 rupees right now, so it's not a problem. If she didn't have rupees, she wouldn't be able to purchase that and have to get something cheaper. So she purchases Ranjit Singh and adds this to the court. I'm just going to stick it here, but it'll probably have to shift in a little bit to make room for all the other cards. So Ranjit is a Punjab card. I don't rule any regions, so she doesn't have to pay any bribes yet. You know, hopefully that comes pretty soon. But she'll take and place 2 tribes on Punjab. So we go to her player board, take 2 tribes off of there, or 2 cylinders. And she's got 2 tribes in Punjab, and instantly already takes the ruling token. And I'm going to stick that just right here. It tells us she rules Punjab right now. So that means if I buy cards from the market from Punjab, I'll have to pay her a bribe. And actually, I'll have to pay her 2 rupees because she's got 2 tribes in Punjab. The last thing, her last impact icon here, is to place an army. Now to place an army, that's where we look at these pragmatic loyalty selectors. The Wakhan always starts with the leftmost pragmatic loyalty, that's going to be Russian, unless another player is loyal to Russian, which as you recall, I am. You can see it there. So if someone else is loyal to Russian or that loyalty, she just moves to the right. And so it's Afghan. She's going to place a green block on Punjab. So we take one green block and she places it there on Punjab and definitely rules that region with 2 tribes and a army. That's 3 ruling pieces. Okay, so that's action 1. And now she still has 1 action left. And so she's going to go to the top of the action stack again and see what she can do. Now this one applies. If Wakhan has fewer than 2 rupees, radicalize the card that would net the most rupees. So this is one where we're going to radicalize, means she's going to purchase a card from the market and play it to her court right away. So we're going to go to the market. So with this said, she would radicalize the card that would net the most rupees. And right now she can't purchase these 3 cards, and there's no other card that has rupees on it that she can really get. I think she's just going to end up getting the 0 cost card. It's not going to net. There's no cards that net the most rupees, but this applies. So she takes that one, adds it to her court, and when this goes to her court, now that she's got a card out there, we look at the red arrow, and that points to right. And so then this card goes to the right of this one. And court order is very critical in this game. You can't mix the cards around in the court, because once spies come into play, they can actually move from card to card, and we don't want to disrupt the order of the cards out there. So now that this is placed, this is going to put a lot of roads and 1 army in Kabul. Kabul's not ruled by another player, so she can put that out there without paying a bribe. And she's going to place Afghan roads and 1 army. To determine what roads she places, we look at the region priority as shown at the bottom of the Wakhan card. So if we go to the map here, we look at Kabul, then we're going to look back at her card and see that the first region she's going to play a road on is between Kabul and Kandahar, because Kandahar has that same square symbol. So she places a green road, or Afghan road, there. If we go back, we look at the next symbol to the right, and that is a symbol for Kabul, so that doesn't apply. So we go to the next one, and that's Herat. She'll place one in Herat, and she places a road between Kabul and Herat. And we go back and look at the next one, and that's between Kabul and Punjab. That has that circular Kabul and Punjab, and then she just places an army in Kabul. So right now we have a dominant coalition, and that's Afghan. So I better watch out if a dominance check card comes out there. Okay, and so that's the end of the Wakhan's turn for actions. She's used 2. Now she could take a bonus action from this one if it applies. And this is the betray action, costs 2 rupees. She only has 1, and she doesn't have any spies on any cards, so she couldn't use that. By the way, this card Ranjit Singh has a special ability on it. You do not pay bribes when taking hostage actions. So we don't have any spies on cards or cylinders on cards, so that's not going to apply yet, but it may help her in the future. So we'll just put that back down there. She can have 3 cards in her court, so she doesn't have to discard anything yet. If we go to the market, and she's just going to refill the market, and then it'll be my turn. And out comes Haji Mirza Agazi and Josiah Harlan. So by the way, I'll probably make some sort of mistake here or there, and I'll try to put some text on screen if I do make a mistake as we go. Okay, so then it goes to my turn, and I get 2 actions, and I'm going to go to the market and see what's available in the market, kind of what I want to get. Well, I think I'm going to start, since I am Russian, I think it'd be great to get a couple armies out there in Transcaspia and have a patriot who's Russian. And this is 0 cost. So when I purchase a card, 0 cost, I take that to my hand. It takes me another action to play it to my court. I don't know that I want to play it to my court yet. Let me look at the market first. I don't know. I'm looking at this card from Kandahar. It's got a tax action on it. Build action's not so critical, but it would let me rule Kandahar, and there's no armies in Kandahar yet. although the Wakhan could move in there and take this tribe from me. But I think that's what I'm going to get. And then I will get 1 rupee again from that card. So I'll buy this one, add it to my hand, and that ends my turn. So I add it to my hand. I'm at my hand limit right now. I don't have to discard anything, and I don't have any cards in my court to discard. So I just refill the market and straighten out cards that I messed up. So for the 2 event cards, this one lets you choose a suit to favor. All favored suit changes impact icons are ignored until the next dominance check. So you can kind of control the favored suit there. That's pretty powerful. And then conflict fatigue until the next dominance check. Dominant coalitions only require 2 more blocks than the other coalitions. So this one's powerful too. So we pass the turn over to our Wakhan friend over here, and she flips the card. The first action says if the Wakhan has no card with the move action, radicalize a card with the move action. So she does not. She's got a betray action and a gift action. So we go to the market, and she's going to radicalize a card with the move action if she can. She only has 1 rupee right now, but it looks like it's going to be this card. It's in the 0 cost column. She's going to radicalize Claude Wade. And then so Claude is going to go to the right of the court. So I'm going to put it up here next to City of Ghazni. And then Claude has 2 spies that are going to go out on Persia cards. This is the only Persia card, so both of those spies are going to go here. So right now the Wakhan is beating me both in cylinders in play and with a dominant coalition that I'm not loyal to. Okay, so that is action number 1. Action number 2 is the move action. The Wakhan wants to move armies to an adjacent region where I would have tribes. I don't have any tribes in these adjacent regions, so she's not going to take the move action. So then she goes down here just to radicalize. And in this case, she's going to radicalize from column 4, bottom card, or bottom row. So we go to the market, and she's going to radicalize again from column 4, bottom row, but she only has 1 rupee. With 1 rupee, she goes down the road until she finds a card she can afford. And this is wheat fields right here. This is going to net her a couple rupees also. Actually, I better pay for this first. Right there. And then this gets added to the right of her court. So put those rupees there. Shift these over so I can add it to the right and still get the cards in camera. Right there. So wheat fields. That's going to place 1 road in Herat. No one rules Herat, so she didn't have to pay a bribe. And so the road is going to border between Herat and Persia because of this symbol here. And she's going to place Afghan again, which is really killing me because I might have to switch loyalties to Afghan. Otherwise, I'm gonna end this game really quick because the Wakhan's going to win. So we take 1 Afghan road and put that between Herat and Persia. So the Wakhan has used 2 actions this turn. She gets to take bonus actions. She does have a bonus action, and this is going to be interesting. Her bonus action is on this card, matches the political suit. As you can see, political suit, the favored suit marker is still on political. She's going to be able to take a bonus or free action from this card, and she has 2 rupees to take the betray action. The Wakhan will take a betray action from any card she has a spy on, and it also has a prize. And so this card, she's got a spy on this card, and it also has a prize. Even though it's in her own court, she's going to betray the Claude Wade. Sorry, Claude. She brings you to the court and betrays you. So you just got to learn how to deal with this radical religion called the Wakhan. So, wah, wah. So Claude is now a patriot, and I'll just stick that here as a reminder so you can kind of see that in camera. Put the rest of her court cards together, and she spends 2 rupees on that too, by the way. And the rupees go on the 5 column in the market. Whenever you pay for an action from a card, your rupees start in the 5 column and then work their way in. So if I had to pay 4 rupees, I'd pay 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and then 1 here. Okay, and then we just refill the market, and out come 2 new cards. Could get a dominance check card already. Not yet though. So we got a Russian Patriot and a British Patriot out there. I gotta do something about this dominant coalition, otherwise I am not gonna score any points and she's gonna score 5. I'm gonna look at the market here and see what I can do. So I really am thinking about changing loyalty, because if a dominance check card comes out, I'm not gonna have any loyalty points or influence for Afghan. So I can afford either one of these, and I think I'm gonna purchase one of those. I think Haji Mirza Agassi is the better card. It's got 2 actions and it'll change the favored suit. And changing the favored suit won't affect me. I don't have any cards out there, but it also won't affect the Wakhan. She doesn't have any cards matching intelligence. All right, so I'm gonna get Haji Mirza and spend all of my rupees on this card. Now I have 3 cards in my hand, but I'm gonna take my second action and actually play this to my court and switch my loyalty. So that was easy, except now I have a Russian Patriot in my hand. That doesn't do me much good. So I switch to Afghan, so at least that way if there's a dominance check, it doesn't kill me. I place a tribe in Persia, right here. And then the favored suit marker changes to intelligence. Okay, so those are my 2 actions. I don't have any cards matching the favored suit. And that ends my turn, except I got to refill the market. And out comes our first dominance check card. So now the Wakhan's ambition is going to kick in. If she can score the most points or win the game, she'll purchase the dominance check card if she can. So we go over to the Wakhan area and we flip a card for her. So before any of the Wakhan's actions, she's going to look and see if she can score the most points, and if so, she'd want to purchase the dominance check card. There is a dominant coalition, and that's Afghan. And if we look at influence with Afghan, I have 2 influence points, one from my Patriot, one from the loyalty dial. And then the Wakhan just has 1 from the loyalty dial. She doesn't have any gifts yet. She just has a Russian prize and then doesn't have any Patriots from Afghan. So she really only has 1 loyalty point. She wouldn't score the most points, so she wouldn't want to buy the dominance check card. We draw her card, and if Wakhan has fewer spies than another player, then radicalize the highest ranked intelligent card. Well, she doesn't have spies on her cards. I don't have spies on any cards either. So we're tied for spies, so she'd skip that action. Then she goes to the next one and it says battle on the highest priority court card with the most spies, where Wakhan has at least 1 spy. And since we don't have spies out there, that action doesn't apply either. So then we just move on to radicalize. And for radicalize, since there is a dominant coalition, the plain radicalize action changes, where the Wakhan is going to want to purchase a card that is a Patriot to the dominant coalition first, and if she can't afford a Patriot to the dominant coalition, then she'll get a card that adds the most roads or armies for the dominant coalition. So we take a closer look at the market here, and then we see that there's Josiah Harlan. This is a Afghan Patriot. But since the Wakhan doesn't have any rupees, she can't afford this card. She looks for the card with the most roads or armies, and that's going to be probably like this Punjab card, but she can't afford it. She has no rupees, so we have to really just go to this column, and we see that this card has 2 roads, and so this is going to be the one that she's going to purchase or radicalize and add to her court. This gives her some rupees too, and I'm a little scared about that. Okay, so this is definitely not a good card for me. It gives the Wakhan 3 rupees. Then I'm going to add this to the right of her court, because the red arrow points to right. And then for the impact icons, this places 2 roads. Those roads are actually going to be British, because I'm loyal now to Afghan. Then she goes to the next icon and places British blocks in Kandahar. Okay, so she's going to place British blocks in Kandahar. So we look and see what border she's going to place this on. The first icon here is for Persia. That doesn't border Kandahar. Second one here is for Transcaspia. Doesn't border Kandahar. Next one is Kabul. So that one does. So she'll place a British road there and place that right next to this Afghan road. And then the next one is Punjab in Kandahar, so she'll place one on the border of Punjab. Okay, so now she's used the 2 road impact icons. The next one is the leverage icon, where she'll take 2 rupees from the supply. So now she's got 5 rupees, and I'm a little scared. And the last impact icon is change the favored suit icon to intelligence, but it's already on intelligence. Okay, so that's the first action for the Wakhan. There's still a dominant coalition. The Wakhan isn't going to score the most points, so she wouldn't want to purchase the dominance check card yet. So we go back to the top of the action stack, and this is the spies question again. She doesn't have any spies, I don't, so that doesn't apply. We can't battle, so she's going to radicalize again. Okay, and since there's a dominance check card in the market, again with a plain radicalize action, her intention first is to purchase a patriot from the dominant coalition. And if she can't afford that, then she buys another card where she can play the most roads or armies. So we go back to the market, and this time she's got 5 rupees, and she's going to purchase Josiah Harlan. So she puts rupee here, here, and since there's no card here, it goes to the other row. And she's going to radicalize this and add it to her court. And when she adds that, the red arrow points to right. So I'm going to shift these down again. I do this a lot. The radicalize action adds cards to her court so fast. So now she's got a patriot to the dominant coalition, so that gives her 1 loyalty point. So she's actually got 2 loyalty points, and I have 2 loyalty points. Punjab, she rules Punjab, so she doesn't have to pay a bribe. She's just going to place 1 cylinder as a tribe on Punjab, and that gives her 3 out there. And so she's got 3 tribes out on Punjab right now. Okay, so that's her 2 actions. She doesn't have any cards matching the intelligence suit, so she doesn't get any bonus actions. She's just going to clean up the market, and then it goes back to my turn, which I have to decide what the heck I'm going to do. Okay, so now it's my turn. Oh, by the way, I forgot to take my ruling token for Persia, so I'm going to take that now. And maybe I don't focus on the cards in the market. I'm going to focus on trying to still keep Afghan as the dominant coalition, because right now if there's a dominance check, if I can get the dominance check out there, we would tie right now. So one thing I may do is if I look at my cards, I have 2 in my hand. I can't play this unless I want to switch my loyalty over to Russian, because Count Perovsky here, he would make me change my loyalty since he's a patriot for Russia. So, but if I look at this Baluchi chiefs, I might play that and rule Kandahar. So if I'm going to play this, I'll stick it right out here. And I place a tribe on Kandahar right there. I take the ruling token since I have the most ruling pieces. And so now I rule Kandahar and Persia. And then the other impact icon here is I get to place an army of Afghan on Kandahar. And I want to keep Afghan as the dominant coalition. So I take an Afghan army, place it on Kandahar, and Afghan is up by 5 blocks, as you can see here. Okay, so that used 1 action for me. And since I rule Kandahar, I could take the tax action here. I could use, I can't betray. I could take this battle action. This gives me some rupees, plus I have another political card that I can keep out of the Wakhan's hands. So I purchase Shah Durrani, add him to my hand, add 2 rupees from that card to my supply. So now I have 2 rupees at least, and those are my 2 actions. I played a card in my court, I purchased a card, so now I fill the market. Our dominance check card is going to become 4 rupees instead of 5. The Wakhan still can't purchase the dominance check card, she only has 2 rupees. And so now over here, the Wakhan draws a card. Afghan is a dominant coalition. However, we're still tied on loyalty points. So the Wakhan is just going to go to her action stack. And the top action says, radicalize a card that will gain Wakhan control of a region. Okay, see what she can afford. So let's take a look at the market and see if there's a card the Wakhan can afford. She's got 2 rupees that would gain her control of a region. So if we look at 2, this would let her change a favored suit. It's not going to let her control a region. Changes the rules a bit for a dominant coalition. So we look at these, there's nothing that's really going to get her control of a region there, at least that I see. Might be missing something. So I don't think she can take that action. So we go back here, and the next action is battle. She does not have any cards with the battle action on them, so she skips that one. And then the last one is radicalize. Since there's still a dominant coalition, she goes back to radicalizing a patriot of the dominant coalition, and then if not, the card with the most roads or armies. So we go over here, and we have no Afghan patriots out there. So there's no cards she's going to buy like that. So then she just looks at the card she can afford with the most roads or armies. This one's got 3 armies. And that's going to have the most roads and armies, and she can afford this. It's in the one column. So she puts a rupee there, purchases this, gets a rupee back. And then this card is going to go to the left of her court, so way over here. Let's see if I can show all those in the shot. Otherwise, I'll zoom out a little bit. All right, and then she has to resolve these 3 impact icons. Now, this is a patriot for British. She doesn't have to change coalitions because she is loyal to every coalition. But that doesn't mean she has to place British blocks unless her card tells us that. So we go over to the pragmatic loyalty. The first icon is actually British, so coincidentally, she will place pink blocks. I'm loyal to Afghan, so there's no conflict there. So that means she is going to place British blocks. So we go to Punjab. She takes 3 armies and places these here. So now we're playing a game of cylinders again. I gotta watch it because now she would be in the lead with cylinders. Afghan is only 2 blocks in the lead from British, so there's no dominant coalition. If the dominance check happened now, it would be unsuccessful. And so the Wakhan's ambition is to look and see if she would score the most points or not. And she actually would score the most points, except the Wakhan only has 2 rupees and she won't be able to buy this card. The reason she'll score the most points is there's no successful coalition right now for the dominance check. So an unsuccessful dominance check means that we look at the cylinders in play. The Wakhan has 3 cylinders in play, and I only have 2 in play. And since I only have 2 in play, I gotta do something because she's gonna be able to get the lead and take 3 points, and then I'll only have 1 point. So since she doesn't have rupees to buy this card, then we go back to her action stack over here. And the first action again is radicalize a card that will gain the Wakhan control of a region. There's no cards in the market that would apply for what she can afford. The next action's battle. Even though we can't see all my actions up here, she doesn't have a battle action yet. So we go to the last action again is radicalize. But now since there would be an unsuccessful dominance check, when we go to the market to radicalize a card for the Wakhan, now she's going to look for cards that would add the most spies and or tribes for what she can afford. I think that's going to be this Mohan Lai, or Lal, because Mohan here has 3 spies. If we look at all the other cards, they either add 1 or 2, and this is one she can afford. So she's going to take 1 rupee and radicalize this card, and it's going to go to her court. She adds the rupee to her supply, and this is going to go to the left of her court. So I'm going to slide these cards down, make some room. And no one rules Kabul, so she doesn't have to pay a bribe to play that card, which I really wish I did, because then I could deplete her of rupees. But she's going to place 3 spies in Kabul cards. I don't have any in my court, but she's got 2 cards with Kabul. And now she's going to have to decide with her priority card here which card those spies are going to go on. And so the first thing this says, if we look at our priority to decide between those 2 cards, the first thing this says is an opponent's card. None of those are opponent's cards. Matches the favored suit. Well, Mohan Lal here does match the favored suit. And so the spies are going to go on Mohan Lal. Except this is where it gets a little interesting because the Wakhan doesn't want to place spies on a card she has the most spies on. And so now she has the most spies here. I don't really know if I'd place all 3 on this card or if I'd split them between this card and this card here. I think if I split these, we'll say, okay, since she doesn't play or put a spy on the card with the most spies, then we'll put the next one here, And then the third one is going to go back on this card since it would take priority. I'm just going to play it that way. Let me know if you don't think that's correct, but we'll let that ride right now. So this card has a special ability for the Wakhan that her spies cannot be removed in battle with other spies, which I guess is pretty good there. And okay, and so now the Wakhan has used her 2 actions, and she's got 1 card here that matches the favored suit, and it's got the move action on it. And so with this move action, she's going to want to move armies to a region with a tribe of mine. So we go back to the map. She's going to want to move British armies into a region with tribes of mine. And so this is and she's only going to move 1 army because I only have 1 tribe. If I had 2 tribes here, she could move 2. This is actually a rank 3 move. If we look at Mohan Lal, he's got a rank 3 move on him, so he could actually move 3 armies. But the Wakhan only moves 1 army because she only moves as many armies as you have tribes. So she's going to move 1 army in here, and future battle, she could remove my tribe. Okay, and that ends the Wakhan's turn. She used her bonus action, her 2 actions, and now we look at her court size, and it's quite big. She's got 1, 2, 3 purple stars. So that means she can have 6 cards in her court. And she's got 3, 6, 7. So she's going to have to discard a card in her court. To do that, we use this card over here. And we go down the list, and this kind of narrows it down to 1 card. So the first thing we leave is non-political cards. And the way I do this, I like to pull the cards that won't get discarded first. So these are my political cards. The rest are non-political. And these are the cards we're going to kind of narrow down and see which one of those is going to get discarded. The next one on this list is non-patriot. So then I pull out my patriots. That's the only one. So now we're down to 4 cards. The next thing on this is non-leveraged. So this one is a leveraged card. So now we're down to 3 cards. The next one on there is, okay, so we look at more player spies, more than Wakhan spies, so I don't have any spies out there. So then we look at the cards with the fewest spies remain. And so that's going to be like this. This is going to go, this has the fewest spies, so Wheatfields is going to get discarded. So I put that over here in the discard pile. Then the Wakhan just has to clean up the market. And so these 2 cards slide. These cards slide. Dominance check is now, can purchase it for 3. And then we have Henry Rawlinson and my favorite, Harry Flashman, coming out. Okay, so we look at the game state, and there is no successful dominance check if the dominance check were to happen right now, because there's no dominant coalition. Afghan is 2 blocks in the lead. And what I'm going to try to do, since I'm way behind in cylinders, the Wakhan has 6 cylinders in play, and I only have 2 in play. I'm going to see if I can change so the Afghan coalition is dominant again. So I'm going to either try to remove British blocks out here, or I'm going to try to add some more Afghan blocks and see if I can just add 2 more on this turn. That way, she's not going to want to purchase the dominance check card. So I'm going to look at the market and look at the cards in my hand. I don't want to play count because that's going to change my loyalty. I don't want to play this dude. So we look out here. I could place 2 roads in Kabul. That's not ruled by the Wakhan, so I wouldn't have to pay a bribe. This card in Kandahar looks interesting too. I do rule Kandahar, and I could maybe put the hurt there. I don't really need roads in Kabul, so I'm going to go with this Kandahar card. Purchase that for 0. And I'm going to play it to my market right here. I'll play it over here. I get the Jazai Sharpshooters, which looks kind of cool if I pronounce that right. I'm probably butchering the names of most of these cards, but please forgive me for that. So Jazai Sharpshooters places 2 armies in Kandahar. Again, I don't have to pay a bribe for that because no one, or I rule Kandahar, so I don't have to pay myself a bribe. So let's go back to Kandahar and place 2 Afghan armies there. And so now I have the dominant coalition again, which is cool. As you can see, Afghan is 4 blocks in the lead. That means it's the dominant coalition. And as far as loyalty points, I have 2, and the Wakhan has 2. So with that said, I used my 2 actions. I don't have any bonus actions. Oh, I get to play a spy. There's one more impact icon. So I can put a spy on a card from Kandahar. I mean, this will help getting another cylinder in play, but I'm really far behind. I don't think it's going to do a whole lot of good for me to put the spy on her card. So I'm going to put it on mine and just get another spy out there. And it might be one that I could move like over here at a later time. All right, let's see what happens. So that ends my turn. I'm going to refill the market. And we go back to the Wakhan. Okay, so Opium Fields comes out. Dominance check card is worth 3. Since there is a dominant coalition and the Wakhan wouldn't score the most, the Wakhan's ambition doesn't kick in, so she's going to just draw a card and use her action stack. So on our next Wakhan card, it says, if no coalition has dominance, radicalize the card that would place the most spies and or tribes. That doesn't apply, there is a dominant coalition. And then it says, battle on the highest priority court card with the most spies, where the Wakhan also has at least 1 spy. Well, there's no court card that we can battle on, nor does the Wakhan have a battle action. So she takes the radicalize action. And in this case, she's going to go back to wanting to purchase a Patriot from Afghan, and then if she can't do that, she's going to add a card or want to purchase or radicalize a card with the most roads or army icons. So we go back here and we see in the market there's no Patriots from Afghan, so she can't purchase a Patriot, which is good. So she's going to look for the card she can afford. She's got 2 rupees, by the way, that would place the most roads or armies. And so I see there's 2, 2, 1, 2. And anytime that there's a tie, the cheapest card wins or breaks the tie. So she's going to buy this Gilzai Nomads. Sorry, pronounced the name wrong there. That's going to give her 2 more rupees. And then she adds this to her court, and that is going to go to the right side of her court, way over here. Let's push these cards down a little bit. She's got a full court. Full court press on me, for sure. And so the Nomads add 2 roads. And for those 2 roads, she's going to place Russian blocks because I'm loyal to Afghan. And she's going to place those in Kabul. No one controls or rules Kabul. Otherwise, she would have had to pay me a bribe. But she's going to place Russian blocks. And so those get some yellow out on the board, so it doesn't look so bad. So the first one goes between Kabul and Punjab. The circle is Punjab. You can see the circle here. So I place 1 road there. Getting a lot of blocks over on this right side of the board here. It's going to like get lopsided and sag over that way. And we look at the second block she's going to place that's Transcaspia. The next one's Persia. Those don't border Kabul. The next one is Kandahar, and that one does. So she places Russian road between Kabul and Kandahar, and still Afghan is the dominant coalition. So that didn't change, and I'm happy. The Wakhan gets 1 more action, though. And so we go back to the top of her action stack again. So there's no reason she'd want to purchase a dominance check card, because there is a dominant coalition and she wouldn't score the most points. The first action doesn't apply. The second action doesn't apply. The third action, she's going to radicalize again. Same thing. She's just going to want to place armies. So we go back to the market, and she's going to look at this card now, the card she couldn't purchase before because there's one cheaper. She's going to get this Punjab card, which this one I don't like. This one could throw the balance off a bit, except, well, I should take that back. She's going to place Russian armies. So that doesn't matter to me at all because Afghan still has the biggest lead over British armies here. Afghan's still way in the lead. Even if she places 2 Russian armies, it's not going to matter. She goes to the market and gets this card that places these 2 Russian armies in Punjab. Now I'm going to have to zoom out. This is getting ridiculous how big her court is. She's going to have to discard cards at the end of this round, or turn. And so then this goes to the right of her court again. So way over here, and I can't see a thing. I don't want to zoom out anymore. It's horrible. All right, so with this card, I'm just going to hold it up to the camera so you can see everything on it. Zorwa Singh Kaluria. And so this is going to place 2 armies on Punjab. She rules Punjab, so she doesn't have to pay a bribe, and those are going to be Russian armies. But then she gets the battle action and gift action. So she places that to the right of her court and then resolves those impact icons. And places 2 Russian armies in Punjab. Again, sinking the side of the board. There's a lot of action over there. Glad my table is like more reinforced on this side because these blocks are heavy. Which actually adds a cool feel to the game. Having these resin blocks versus wood, there's some weight to these. They feel like there's some substance there. Okay, so Afghan's still the dominant coalition, which is great. The Wakhan has taken her 2 actions, so now she's going to see if she can take any bonus actions. Intelligence is the favored suit, so this is her only intelligence card right here. So she could take a move action, except there's no place on the map for her to move. Like right now, I have a tribe here in Kandahar, and she would want to move some blocks there, but I guess she will move because she's Russian this turn. She's going to want to move 1 Russian block into Kandahar. She doesn't need roads like we do to move blocks, so she can move from any adjacent region to another. And so she places this block in Kandahar. Man, this is like a lot of buildup before a battle right there in Kandahar. This is crazy. All right, so Afghan's still dominant. She's not going to remove anything here. So now we look at the Wakhan's court, and she's got to get rid of some cards. She has 3 purple stars, meaning she can only have 6 cards in her court, and she right now has 8. So there's 2 cards she removes. So that's where we go to this priority reference for cleanup. We go through this list and narrow down until we find 1 card that she's going to remove. First thing is non-political cards stay. So this is political, that's out. Non-patriot, so patriots come out of it. I'm just going to read these off. Non-leverage, so any cards with leverage are out of the mix. Most player spies more than Wakhan spies. I don't have any spies on her cards. Fewest spies, so she's going to get rid of the cards with spies on them. So now we're down to 3 cards left. Oh, actually 2 cards. This is a political card, so it's down. Narrowed down to these 2. One of those she's going to discard. Lowest rank, these are both rank 2. Not matching favored climate, neither of these do, so then you just go to lowest card number. And this one is card 13, this is 33, so Gilzai Nomads is gone. And then what I'm going to do, I'd go through the same thing again, and so this card is actually going to go too, because she's got to narrow her court down to 6 cards, not 8. So that one gets discarded. Now she's down to 6 beautiful cards, hopefully that I can keep up with. Now I tell you what I want to do right now is get another loyalty point and purchase a dominance check card. So I'm cleaning up for the Wakhan still here. This card would get resolved, I'm sorry. So the event card that was discarded is Riots in Punjab, and that removes all tribes and armies in Punjab, which might be a benefit to me. Let's take a closer look at Punjab. I can't believe it. So let's do it. The Wakhan has 3 tribes in Punjab. Those go back here. This is awesome. And you know what that means. If she loses her tribes, with the overthrow rule, she also loses her political cards for Punjab too. So these would get discarded as well. And that means she has 1 less loyalty point for Afghan. And then armies, and I don't care about losing an Afghan army because 2 British armies are lost, 1 Russian army is lost, and an Afghan. That still makes Afghan the dominant coalition. And that means if I can purchase the dominance check card, I am in the lead. Yeah! So I'm going to finish cleaning up the market for the Wakhan. So I fill this space. There's another British Patriot. There's an Afghan Patriot. And then a Rebuke, which removes all tribes and armies in a single region. If purchased, if discarded, that one happens, so it'll change the favored suit. I'm going to take my turn and purchase this dominance check card right here. And I have 4 rupees, so I'm going to purchase it for 2. And let's resolve a dominance check. Afghan's the dominant coalition. If we look at loyalty points, I have 1 for this patriot, 1 for my dial. The Wakhan has no patriots, no prizes for Afghan, and so she's loyal to the coalition, so she just gets 1 loyalty point. So I'm going to score 5. She's going to score 3. So dominance check is discarded. That was my first action. And since there was a successful dominance check, that means all of these blocks get discarded now. Almost forgot about that. Can't forget that. So we kind of start with a clean slate after a successful dominance check, except it kind of goes back to a game of espionage again with spies and tribes. And now the question is, do I want to stay loyal to Afghan? I mean, there's some British patriots out there and Russian patriots, and I have 1 in my hand, so I may look at keeping Afghan. Except if I switched loyalties, then I would lose my tribe in Persia because this card would have to be discarded. Then I would lose rule of Persia, lose rule of Kandahar. Oh, by the way, I forgot to put this token back into Punjab. The Wakhan loses that because she lost all of her tribes in Punjab. So I have 1 more action. What am I going to do? I'll stay loyal to Afghan for now. And I'm just going to play Shah Durrani to my court. It's in my hand. And so now that places a tribe, gets another cylinder out because now it's a cylinder game. Places a tribe in Kabul and gets me the ruling token. So now I rule Kabul, Persia, and Kandahar. So that way, hopefully the Wakhan has to pay me a bribe if she plays any of those cards. And I'm in the lead here with 4 cylinders in play to her 3 cylinders in play. So that's a good thing. I'll take it. This game's working out better than my last couple against the Wakhan. We'll see if it stays that way. So I've resolved the market. First thing is, if discarded, when you discard a event card in the 0 column as the first thing you do, the rupees stay there and they're going to get added to the card that gets slid down. This one, if discarded, it just changes the favored suit to intelligence, which we're already on intelligence here. So then this gets discarded. These cards slide. And 2 more cards come out. That's got a Afghan prize on it. Lapis Lazuli mines look good. Oh yeah, another dominance check card. So no rest for the wicked here. We're going to go dominance again. And I could score more points here and actually win the game if I could buy that dominance check card. Meaning I can end the game quickly because I would be 4 points ahead of the Wakhan. So if I was to purchase this right now, and things are going to change after the Wakhan's turn, that would give me 3 points and put me up to 8, and the Wakhan would only be at 4. And if any time after dominance check you end the game 4 points ahead of the 2nd place player, which would be the Wakhan, the game ends. So that's what I need to do. Okay, so it is the Wakhan's turn. I'm done. I don't have any cards matching the favored suit. So let's go to the Wakhan. She flips a card. There's no reason the Wakhan's ambition would kick in because she is not in the lead. There's no dominant coalition and she doesn't have the most spies or tribes in play. So we go to the first action. If Wakhan has fewer than 2 rupees, well, she has 2 rupees, not fewer than. So we skip that one. The next one is build. She doesn't rule any region, so she can't build yet. And then the third action is radicalize. And that's what she's going to do. And right now, radicalize, since there's no dominant coalition, means that she's going to purchase the card with the most spies or tribes in the market. She's got 2 rupees, and so we look for the card with the most spies and tribes she can afford. I start in the 2 rupee column and then look lower, and there's 1 card here that's got 2. Shoo, she's going to get a lot of rupees from that. So she's going to radicalize this card, which is a Russian patriot, Jan Prosper Wilkowitz. So this gets added to the Wakhan's court, and it's going to go on the left side of her court over here. She's taking the 3 rupees, adding that to her supply, and then she adds 2... Oh, wait. I don't rule Transcaspia. She doesn't have to pay me a bribe, unfortunately. Then she's going to add 2 spies, 2 cards from Transcaspia, which I don't have any in my court. She only has 1 card here, so they're both going to go out on this card. Now, see, I told you things were going to change because now she's got 5 spies in play and I have 4 in play. So now she's in the lead and probably will be able to purchase this dominance check card next. So that's her first action. And for her second action, now I'm all disappointed because she's going to want to purchase the dominance check card. She actually has 5 rupees. And rather than taking another action, Wakhan's ambition kicks in and she has the most cylinders in play, 5 to my 4. So here she goes. And purchases the dominance check card for 5. And with the dominance check, we look at the game state again. And for an unsuccessful dominance check like this, she's going to score 3 points. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to score 1, and we're both tied at 6. Okay, so it's anybody's game. That was her second action. Okay, so intelligence is still the favored suit, so she gets to take 1 free action from each of these cards. The first action here is move. She doesn't have any armies, and the Wakhan only moves armies and not spies. So she can't move anything, so she can't take that action. She doesn't rule a region, so she can't take this one. And again, over here, she doesn't have any armies to move, so she's not going to really take any bonus actions here. So that's the end of her turn, except now she goes to the cleanup. We'll clean up the market first, and then we'll come back and clean up her court. So in the market, we slide the cards over. There's no event cards in the 0 column, so we don't have to resolve any of those. So we just slide cards, and 2 new cards come out. Always fill top first, and then the bottom, if I don't mess these cards up. So we got Persian Army, and then Exiled Durrani Nobility comes out as another political suit card, which would add a tribe and ruling token. So now we go back to the Wakhan's court, and she's got to discard. She doesn't have any purple stars anymore. So what's going to happen here is she's got to discard down to 3. Or cards that are non-political would remain. Cards that are non-patriot remain, so we're down to 3 cards here. This one, and this one. Non-leveraged cards remain, so now it's down to 2. I don't have any spies, so we don't worry about that. Fewest spies remains, so it's going to be this card that gets discarded. City of Ghazni. So she puts one of her cylinders back and discards this one. And now she does the same thing again because she's got to discard down to 3. Which is good. She might get rid of a couple more spies. And so this card's not going to go, that one's not going to go. Non-leveraged goes before spies, and so these spies get returned. So that's the end of the Wakhan's turn. Now it is my turn again. So it's a tie game. What do I want to do? I have 4 cylinders in play. The Wakhan only has 2 in play. So maybe I'll keep pushing that and see if I can get Afghan armies and things built up again. So I only have 2 rupees out here, and in the market, I don't really want to change loyalties. This is a British patriot, so I don't want to purchase that. It would make me change loyalties if I played it to my court. There's a political card here, which would add to my rule in Kandahar and place an army. That might be good, and it doesn't cost me anything. And if I ever assassinated this card or blackmailed that card, I could get an Afghan prize. So I think I'll purchase this one, add it to my hand, and add it to my hand. And this kind of has a cool ability where I could play a spy. I think I might just play this to my court right away. Adds another cylinder and an army. We'll just put all my political cards over here. So in Kandahar, I rule Kandahar, but I'm going to put another tribe there. So now I get 2 rupees if a bribe was paid to Kandahar. And then I'm going to place an army, which is Afghan. Place an Afghan army in Kandahar. Okay, so those are my 2 actions. I purchased a card and played it on the same turn. And now I have this blackmail special ability here. And the blackmail special ability says, at the start of a turn, you may place a spy on any Kandahar court card without a spy. So my opponent, the Wakhan, has a card from Kandahar that would apply to on my next turn. Okay, so no dominant coalition. I have a lot of cylinders. That's the end of my turn, except I gotta clean up the market. My court is fine, by the way, because I have a lot of purple stars in there. I could actually have 7 cards in my court, and I only have 5. We put out company weapons. Okay, so the Wakhan takes her turn. And so the Wakhan flips over a card. And in her action stack, she's got the tax, betray, and radicalize. And it's been a while since there has been a market without a dominance check card. So now all this stuff, there's no Wakhan ambition that comes in, and the radicalize action will be normal. So we start with the tax action. And if we look at the Wakhan cards, she doesn't have any tax action here. So she can't take the tax action. The next action is betray. Again, the Wakhan doesn't have any betray action. And then so the next action is radicalize. And of course, she can always take radicalize. So we're gonna go from column 1, top row, in the market. Column 1, top row. And so this is our public withdrawal card. So this card's kind of a special circumstance with public withdrawal. It says this card cannot be purchased. Any money placed on this card in the market is instead removed from the game. So she can't purchase this card, so we're just going to say she's got to go to this next card. This is going to give her a lot of rupees. Actually, she's out of rupees, so she would have had to get this card anyway. My mistake. But now we know how public withdrawal works. So she's going to add those rupees and add this to her market, and this is going to go on the left side of her market. This is a Transcaspia card. I don't rule Transcaspia, so she doesn't have to pay me any rupees there. So she's going to place 1 spy on a Transcaspia card. It's going to go on this one since this already has 2 spies. So now she's got 3 cylinders in play and 2 British Patriots. So now she goes back to her action stack again and does the tax action. She doesn't have that. She doesn't have a betray action, and she'll radicalize. But instead, she's going to go to the column 1 bottom row, because the top, she can't do anything with that. So column 1, she'd purchase from the top row. Public withdrawal won't let her purchase that. So then she'll go to the bottom row, and for 1 rupee, she's going to purchase Opium Fields and radicalize that, add it to her court. That goes to the left side of her court. And then she's going to place 2 roads, British roads now, because I'm loyal to Afghan. And she's going to place those in Herat. So I take 2 roads, we go to Herat here. And if we look at her card, the border that's going to go on is, this is Transcaspia. So between Herat and Transcaspia first, right here. And then the second one is between Herat and Persia, right here. So those are the 2 roads, and then we go back, and she's going to add a spy to a Herat card. If we look at my cards, I don't have any from Herat, so she can't place the spy on my cards. We go back to her cards here, and the only Herat card out here is this one, so the spy is going to go there. And now we're 4 spies to 5. I'm still in the lead. And then, this is interesting, favored suit marker is going to get changed to military. We haven't had that yet in our game. And what that does is it doubles the cost of all cards down in the market. Everything's going to get doubled, except the 0 column, because 0 times 2 is still 0. So if we go back to the Wakhan card, since military is the favored suit, she could actually take a bonus action from this card. It's the move action, and she would move British armies. She doesn't have any British armies on the board to move, so that doesn't apply. And so that uses her 2 actions. So now she just cleans up. And out comes Karuli Sheep. That's got a good tax action on it. And then Makpan Dynasty. Again, probably mispronouncing these really bad, but that is a nice Punjab political card, which would add a tribe, and you get to be able to rule Punjab with this card. That takes care of the market. Then we go back to her court, and she can only have 3 cards in her court, so she's going to have to discard 2. And the first thing, again, is non-political card. She doesn't have non-patriot. These 3 are out, so we're just down between these 2. Non-leveraged, this one's out. So actually, she's got to discard 2, so it's going to be these 2. So bye-bye, spy, sorry. That gets discarded, and so does this one. So she's down to 3 patriots there. Okay, so now it goes back to my turn. I could make a few things work for me. If I can get more Afghan armies or blocks on the board, get the dominant coalition, I'd be okay. And if I can still play cylinders, I think I'm okay. So I think I'm just going to go with Harry Flashman. I'm going to add Harry Flashman to my hand. I'm going to play Harry Flashman to my court here. And I'm going to play Harry Flashman to my court. So that uses my 2 actions right now. No one rules Punjab. So with Harry, he puts a cylinder on a Punjab card. And so I get another cylinder out. So if we look at the Wakhan, she has a Punjab card here. So I'm going to put this spy here. And then we go back here, and now I get to take my bonus action from this military card. Since the favored suit is military, I'm going to use the betray action as a free bonus action. And when you take an action from a card that costs rupees, those rupees go and get paid on the cards in the 5 column of the market and work their way inward. So I do that, and when you betray a card, it means I can discard any one card with a spy on it of mine. And if we look now, I place this spy on the Wakhan card, and this has an Afghan prize on it. Since I'm loyal to Afghan, that would help me in case there's a dominant coalition. So I lose my spy, but I'm going to play that, betray this card here. And so I'm going to betray this, put my spy back, and gain the prize. So now I have 3 loyalty points for Afghan in case there's a dominant coalition. Okay, so I used my 2 actions. I used a bonus action here. It's the end of my turn. I don't have to discard any cards in my court because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 purple stars. I can have 7 cards in my court. I currently have 6. So we go to the market. We resolve event cards in the 0 cost column of the market. This card is public withdrawal, and this takes any rupees that were on it. Since this card couldn't be purchased, if you remember from earlier, the rupees on it just go back to the supply and are kind of taken out of the game. So I put that there, and this gets discarded. Ooh, European cannons, that's a powerful military card. And then Dost Muhammad is a powerful political card, rank 2 and a rank 3. All right, then we go over back to the Wakhan. It's the Wakhan's turn. She draws a card, and on this card she's got the build action, move action, and radicalize. So she starts with build. She does have a build action here, but doesn't rule a region, so she can't take that action. The next is move. She doesn't have any armies she could move with. She would only move Russian armies here since Russia is the pragmatic loyalty. Then she's going to take the radicalize action. No dominance check card in the market, so she'll radicalize a card from column 4, top row. So if we go to column 4, top row, remember the favored suit is military, so all cards in the market, the price is doubled right now. When military is the favored suit, everything's in demand and prices skyrocket. Inflation is just out of control right now because that's the political climate, or that's the current climate in Afghanistan. So we look at column 4, and this is top row. The Wakhan is 3 rupees, so she's not going to be able to afford any of these cards with the cost doubled until we get here. So she's going to get the card I wanted, Lapis Lazuli mine, and she's going to radicalize this card. So she pays 2 rupees for this and radicalizes that and adds it to her court. And this is going to go to the left of her court. So I'm just slide these over, add this here. Gosh, she's got a patriot of every coalition. She's got 2 rupees right now. And she's going to place Russian blocks, not Afghan blocks, because her pragmatic loyalty for this turn is Russian. She's going to place Russian roads in Kabul. Oh, wait. Kabul is ruled by me, so she's got to pay a bribe to me. She's got to pay me 1 rupee because I have 1 tribe in Kabul. I get rupee, which is good. Starve her of money a little bit. Okay, so now she's going to place 2 Russian roads in Kabul right here. So she's going to place those in Kabul. And the first one, looking at her card over here, first one is going to go between Kabul and Kandahar. And the second one is going to go between Kabul and Herat, right there. and that's gonna take one of her actions. Then we go back here, she's got the build action, doesn't rule a region, can't take that. Move, she doesn't have any armies from Russia, she can't move. And radicalize again, and this is gonna go to 4, top. So we go to column 4, top row, and she has 1 rupee. So if I go to column 4, she placed a rupee here, so she can't purchase this card. So she'll have to go to the bottom row and just get the 0 cost card. George Hayward. And so George is going to go to the left of her court. Punjab isn't ruled by any player, so she doesn't have to pay a bribe. So she's going to place 1 spy on a Punjab card. And since I have a Punjab card, if we go to her card priority right here, it says that we start with opponent's card. If we have to narrow down a court card to figure out where she's going to place that spy, it's going to start with the opponent's card, so that's going to be mine. So she takes a cylinder and places it on Harry Flashman. No! So the next thing she'll do is change the favored suit to political. And so she's used her 2 actions, and political is the favored suit. She doesn't have any political cards, and she's used her 2 actions. So she's going to have to clean up her court now. And when she cleans up, she's got all these patriots out here now, so she'll have to figure out which patriot goes. So if we go to her priority, cleanup priority is non-political, non-patriot. Those are all patriots. So now we keep narrowing it down until we get to 1 card. Cards that are not leveraged. Most player spies. So these 2 are going to be out since they have spies on them. Fewest spies, lowest rank. So I think it's going to be George Hayward who gets discarded. Okay, so that's that. She's down to 3 cards in her court, and then we clean up the market. I guess I probably should have done that first, but we'll do it now. And add 2 new cards to the market, which is Riots in Herat. That'd be a good one to remove if she controls stuff in Herat. And then Fruit Markets in Kandahar. Okay, so for my turn, I get 2 actions. If I go to the market, this is going to be interesting. I don't know for sure what I want to do, but I do need money, and I can't really afford any cards out there. This is a British Patriot, but it's got 3 rupees on it. And I might just add this to my hand. I mean, I can hold more cards in my hand, so it's not going to hurt me too much, and then I could discard it. But I could get 3 rupees here without having to tax. So I'm going to do that. And that way the Wakhan doesn't get those 3 rupees. So I have 2 cards in my hand that I don't want to play right now, but I have a little more cash. And so what do I want to do? Political is the favored suit, and I might be able to take some free or bonus actions from those cards. So I keep forgetting to take this blackmail action. I'm going to take it this turn and put a spy on this Kandahar card over here without a spy. Next turn I could put one on this card. And with this card, my tax action becomes more valuable. I have the chain of action lineage. When you take the tax action, act as if you rule every region. So if I take this tax action as a bonus action right here, if we look here at the Wakhan's cards, she's got a tax shelter of 2, and she only has 1 rupee, so I'm not going to be able to tax her. But I can tax the market, and so I'm just going to take a rupee here with that tax action. So getting some rupees, and that way hopefully I can start building a little bit. Okay, so I use this one for the tax action, and now I'm going to take I think I'm going to take the build action from this card. And with a build action, I can build 1, 2, or 3 armies and or roads in any region I rule. I want to build in a region where I could maybe remove some roads. So I'll build maybe in Kabul. I could remove 2 roads. And so if I build in Kabul, I'm going to build 2, 3, 4, 5. How much do I have here? So I have 6 rupees. I'm going to add these to the market. So I'm going to build 2 armies because I want to take out these Russian roads. And then I'm going to put a road here to hopefully bring those armies over here to Herat. We'll see if that works. So that costs me, I use that as a bonus action. Go back to my cards And since political's the favored suit still, I'm going to use this one battle. So that means I can remove either one tribe, one army, or one road from Kabul. And I have to have at least as many armies as what I remove. So I need one army. I have a battle action of one, so I can remove one road. So I'll remove this road between Kandahar and Kabul. And then I'm going to take another bonus action here. This is another battle. And I'm going to remove this other Russian army or road here as well. So now that worked out okay for me. I was able to use all those bonus actions. I actually still have one more action I can take. All my card-based actions require rupees to use, so I really can't use those. And if we look at the market, I don't have any rupees, and the only zero-cost card is this one. And it says remove all tribes and armies in a single region. Well, there's really nothing to remove except for stuff of mine, and I don't want to remove that. If discarded, it's just going to keep the favored suit marker on political, so that one really doesn't affect me. So I'm going to be done with my turn. Discard this one. Since the favored suit marker's on political, that's just going to stay there. And then we refill the market. Probably going to see a dominance check card come out, is my guess. Nope. Still no dominance check. And so I can still have a market or a court with 7 cards, and I have 6 in there, so I'm good. I don't have to discard. My hand size is okay. I could have 3 in my hand. All right, so now we go back to the Wakhan, flip the card. And the first thing is Wakhan's going to take the tax action, which is probably good so she can tax and get some rupees for her. Not good for me. She doesn't rule a region, so she can't take any rupees from me. She'll take rupees from the market. In the market, she'll always take from the leftmost column. And she's going to take a rupee. If it's a tie, then I believe you just go back here and we look at the red arrow, and that says she's going to take from the bottom. So she's going to get her 2 rupees here from the bottom. So now she's got 3 rupees. For the Wakhan's next action, she radicalizes the highest ranked intelligence card in the market. So if we look at the market, there is one intelligence card out here. It's in the 5 column. She's only got 3 rupees, so she can't afford that. So we're going to skip that action. Okay, then we look at her Wakhan card, and she moves to the bottom action of radicalize. So she's going to radicalize a card from column 2, bottom row. If we go to column 2, bottom row, this is Makpun Dynasty or Makpan Dynasty, and that's going to cost her 2 rupees. So by the way, the favored suit icon is now in political. That got changed on the Wakhan's last turn. So that means the market value is correct now, or it's the same. 2 equals 2, it's not doubled. So she adds a rupee here and radicalizes this card. And that is going to go to the right of her court, so right here. And now to resolve the impact icon, she's going to place a tribe on Punjab. So she takes a tribe. So now she's got 5 in play to my 6. Puts that on Punjab and takes the ruling token because she rules the region. And then she gets to leverage the supply for 2 rupees. Which makes me think, did I have a card that I played and I didn't play those 2 or pay the 2 rupees back? Gosh, I hope not. If the Wakhan has a card with this leverage icon that she discards, if she doesn't have rupees, she doesn't have to discard cards like you or I would when we play. Basically, she has that advantage. She doesn't have to discard a card if she's out of rupees. Okay, so now the Wakhan is back to 3 rupees, and this card is done. She could take the build action now, and I think she will because she's got 3 rupees since she rules Punjab. So she uses this as a bonus action since it matches the favored suit, and she's going to build. So, gosh, you move into Punjab just like that, and you want to build in Punjab just like that. It's like, wow, new neighbors are adding onto their house already. So, she's going to spend 2 rupees, and then add an army, and that's going to be British. So we look at her pragmatic loyalty, and that is going to be British for this turn. She pays her 2 rupees to the market, and builds 1 British army in Punjab. So that's it for the Wakhan's turn. She's taken her bonus action, used her 2 actions. Her court is fine. She's got the purple star, so her court size now is 4. So we just go clean up the market. And gosh, I think that dominance check card should come out pretty soon. Here. Nope, Eldred Pottinger. Harry Potter. No, Eldred Pottinger. Well, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I think out here on the map, I still want to try for the dominant coalition of Afghan, but I don't have any move action because I really want to try to get rid of a couple roads out there too. Maybe like these roads here, if I can move one of my armies here. But if we look at my cards, I don't have any move action on my cards, so I can't move that army. Well, let's go to look at the market. This Herat card I kind of like because it's got the move action on it, and it would let me rule Herat right away. And then it gives me 2 rupees. I think that's the card I got to go with. This one would add some roads and a army. I could add those in Herat, but maybe I'll rule it first. So I'm going to purchase this as 1 action. I get 2 rupees. This goes to my hand. And I think I'm going to play it right away since political is still the favored suit. And I'll be able to take a free action from it and then move at least to get rid of one of the roads there. So if I look at my cards, oh, I still have to put my tribe in Herat. So we take one of these. Put that in Herat. I get the ruling token. Put that over there. And then I think I'm going to take the move action as my bonus action. Since this card matches the favored suit, I'm going to take the move action from this and move one of my armies over into Herat. Okay, so I'm going to move my army from Kabul to Herat since I have this road here. Now I'm going to use, oh crap, I forgot my Kandahar special ability. Well, I didn't do this at the start of my turn, so I missed it. But I'm going to use a special battle action here, and I'm going to take out something in Herat. So we go to Herat. I'm going to remove one of these British roads with that battle action, and that's a bonus action. So I'll put that back. So I'll take another bonus action from this card and build. And I'm going to build, spend 2 rupees here, add these to the market, and I'm going to build an army. So I'm going to add 1 army in Herat. I'm really in good shape since I have all these political cards and they match the favored suit. So this one I'm going to tax. I can't tax the Wakhan because she has 1 rupee and she's got a tax shelter on 2, so that won't work. So I'm just going to grab a rupee from the market. Do that down here. And then the last one, I can take a bonus action from this card, and this one lets me battle again. So I'm going to go battle in Herat and remove this road. It's a rank 1 battle action. I have 2 armies, so easily I can remove that. If I had a rank 2, I could remove 2 things if there were 2 to remove. So that's it. I use my bonus actions, and I am done. My court can actually have 5, 6, 7, 8 cards in it. I have 7 right now, so I don't have to discard any there, and my hand size is okay. Let's just go to the market and clean that up. There's the dominance check card. I knew it had to be close. So now there's a dominance check card out there. Ooh, Afghan is actually the dominant coalition right now, and I would have 3 loyalty points or 3 influence for Afghan versus 2 for the Wakhan. All right, so the Wakhan takes her turn. The Wakhan's ambition would not kick in, and so she's going to flip over a card. So we go to her first action, and it says, if no coalition is dominant, well, we're going to skip that one because Afghan is the dominant coalition. Military cards are favored. That's not going to happen either, so she's going to radicalize. Since there's a dominant coalition, she's going to try to radicalize Afghan patriots first, and then if there's none available, then she'll try to radicalize a card with the most armies and or roads. And there's no Afghan patriots out here, so she's going to radicalize the card with the most armies and or roads. This has 2 roads, 1 army. This one has 3 armies. Go with the cheaper card in a tie, and so she's going to radicalize this 0-cost card. And this gets added to the left of her market, so you can see that there. It's Herat. I rule Herat, so she's got to pay me 1 rupee. She has 1. She's got to pay me a bribe. And so that bribe goes to me. And now she's going to place some blocks. She's not going to place Afghan. She's going to place Russian. So if we go to Herat, she's going to place 2 Russian blocks there for roads first. And the first one is going to go between not Herat and Punjab, they don't border each other, but Herat and Persia is the first one. And then the next one goes between Herat, that's her Herat symbol, so that can't go between itself. So Herat and Kandahar will be the next. So those are her two roads, and then she places a Russian army there. So Afghan is no longer the favored suit, which stinks. So now it's back to a cylinder game, which I have 7 cylinders in play to her 5, so she still wouldn't score the most points for a dominance check. So this Herat card has a special ability, and this special ability says, do not pay for Herat cards in the market. So she gets those for free when she radicalizes. Try to remember that. Okay, so she gets one more action. So we go to the top of the action stack. If no coalition has dominance, radicalize the card that would place the most spies and or tribes. So that does take effect right now. She doesn't have any rupees right now. That doesn't have any spies and tribes, so that wouldn't work for her. This one would, but she doesn't have a rupee. This one would, those she can't afford. So she's just going to radicalize a card in the 0 cost column in that case. And so this is going to go to the left of her court, over here. She's got to resolve these impact icons. So she adds a Russian army to Punjab, and then she's going to change the favored suit to intelligence. Unfortunately, that doesn't work for me. I loved writing out that political favored suit. So Wakhan can take a bonus action from this intelligence card since it matches the favored suit and this one. So this card has the move action, Arthur Connolly. I always think he might be a distant relative to Jennifer Connolly from Top Gun, maybe. But she can use the move action here. So I'll slide that forward to show that we're going to use that action. So for the Wakhan, she'll move an army into an adjacent region with one of my tribes. Since the pragmatic loyalty for the Wakhan right now is Russian, she could move, that's a rank 1 move action, she would move either here or here. And to determine where we move, because I have spies in both of these regions, we just look back at the Wakhan card, and she would move into, see, it's either Kandahar or Kabul, whichever one comes up first. And so Kandahar is the first one that we see. So she's going to move this army into, Kandahar. And then she can take one action also from this card, and this has a rank 2 move action. So the rank 2 move action, she's not going to use because her Russian armies are already in regions with my spies. So let me back up just a second. She would not move this army because it would lose her the ruling token. She would never move an army if it loses a ruling token, so that one's going to stay. So she's not going to use the move action at all from either of those cards. So let's go back, look at her cards for a second. She can't use the move action. She doesn't have enough rupees for the gift action. She can't use this move action, and she doesn't have enough rupees for the build action. So she is done for the turn. She's going to have to discard cards down to 4, so she's got to get rid of 2 cards, and we'll just use the priority, cleanup priority to do that. So non-political cards are left, non-patriot cards are left. That leaves these 2 cards over here. Non-leveraged, neither of those are leveraged. None have spies on them. So then lowest rank, and this is the card that's lowest rank. So this is one, company weapons, gets discarded. And then the Baluchi smugglers would be the next one that gets discarded. And now she's down to 4 cards in her court, and she's just going to clean up the market. Okay, out comes Burkham Jews and then William Moorcroft. Transcaspia and Kandahar cards. Oh, start of my turn. Start of any turn, you may place a spy on a Kandahar card without a spy. So we're going to do that. I'm going to place one of my spies here. The Wakhan does not have any Kandahar cards. So when I start my turn, I really like this Dost Muhammad. But that would take an action and another action to play it. Gosh, I really like that card. But there's a couple things I want to do, I think. I would like to get the dominant coalition back to Afghan. And right here you can see that I'm only in the lead, or the Afghan coalition is only in the lead by 1 block. It's not the dominant coalition. I'd have to have 3 more blocks in play to be the dominant coalition, or get rid of some Russian blocks. And then I think I'm going to use the battle action from this card, Jilji Nobles, sorry. With the battle action, it's a rank 1, so I can only remove like one army or road. I'm going to remove this army, and then I'm going to take another rank 1 battle action from this card and remove a road. Doesn't really matter which road I remove, because roads don't really benefit the Wakhan. So I think that's all I can do for my turn. Even though this card matches the favored suit, it's being held hostage. That means I'd have to pay 1 rupee to the Wakhan to be able to play either of these card-based actions, which costs 2. And I only have 2 rupees, so I wouldn't be able to play either of those actions. So that ends my turn. My court size is okay because I could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 cards in my court, and I have 7. If we look at the market, I don't have to clean that up since I didn't buy any cards from the market. So now we start the Wakhan's turn, and she flips her card over and takes the first action from her action stack. And this one says, radicalize a card that will gain the Wakhan control of a region. So if we go to the market, I think the card she's going to get is this Dost Muhammad that I was looking at last turn, and I probably should have purchased it. It's probably going to really ruin the game for me. So she adds that to her court, and that's going to go on the right side of her court. So right here, and she gets a rupee, so that gives her 2 rupees right now. So now she's going to add 2 tribes to Kabul. So she takes 2 tribes, adds those to Kabul, and now she rules the region. She counts this army, she has 2 tribes to my 1 tribe. So I have to return the ruling token. Actually, she's going to take the ruling token, and then places an army. And that army is going to be a British, looking at her pragmatic loyalty here. So it's going to be pink. So she adds a pink army. And then her last impact icon is a spy, and she's going to add that to a card in Kabul, which I have one in my court. And if we look at the Wakhan priority, if you have to choose between more than 1 card, meaning her court and mine, it always goes to the opponent's card first. I'm going to take this cylinder, and that means she's going to have 8 cylinders in play, so we're tied on cylinders, and she's going to put that on my 1 Kabul card here. She's taken 1 action, so there's no Wakhan's ambition that's going to come into play, so she moves to the next action in her action stack, which is build. And so she has build on 2 cards. This one matches the favored suit. And so if you have it on 2 cards, then if we look and we have to narrow it down, opponent's card doesn't work, but matches the favored suit comes next. And so she's going to use the build action from this card, slide it forward to show that I've used it, so I'm not going to use it as a bonus action later. But she's going to build in one of her regions. So she controls Punjab and she controls Kabul, or rules Punjab and Kabul. If we look at the card priority for region, she's going to start building in whatever one comes first, and that's going to be Kabul. So she's going to build in Kabul. She's got 2 rupees, and she's going to build a British army there, which stinks because now Afghan only has a 2 army lead. So she pays these to the market and adds 1 army in Kabul. And since that was a bonus action, then we go to radicalize. Since there's no dominant coalition right now, she's going to go to the market and purchase the card which adds the most spies and or tribes. She doesn't have any rupees right now, so she's not going to be able to afford any of these cards. This is the only one she can afford, and if there's no spies or tribes on it, that's okay. She'll still radicalize the card in the 0 cost column. So she goes back to her court. This gets added to the right of her court. So next to Dost Muhammad, push these over so we can see them. And this card adds 2 armies. They're going to be British armies in Persia. Actually, I rule Persia. That's a great thing because I rule Persia. She has to pay me a bribe, and she is out of rupees. So she's got to discard this card. Yay! She could take 1 bonus action from this intelligence card. She could move, so let's see if that applies. She's British right now. So since she's British, she's going to want to move an army to an adjacent region with a tribe. And so she's got 2 regions she could move from, Punjab and Kabul. So let's narrow that down by looking at her Wakhan card and the region priority. So if we look here, she would move whichever one's first, Kabul or Punjab, and we keep moving. So Kabul's going to be first. That's one she's going to move an army from. And then she's going to move to an adjacent region where she doesn't have an army, where I have a tribe. And so it's either going to be Kandahar or Herat. And for that, we go back to her card priority to see which region she moves. First one is Herat, so she's going to move one army into Herat. Just like that. Okay, so she doesn't have to clean up any cards in her court. She doesn't have to discard any cards in her court because she's got 3 purple stars. She could have 6 cards in her court, but she'll have to straighten up the market a little bit. And out come 2 new cards. It's getting down there, getting toward the end of the game. All right, so now it's my turn. I would need to get rid of 2 British and 1 Russian army to have the most in play, or I would have to place 2 more armies of Afghan to have the most in play. And I still have more loyalty points than the Wakhan, so that would work in my favor. We're tied on cylinders, so I could try to do more cylinders. Okay, so for my turn, I like fruit markets, meaning that it's going to change the favored suit back to political. And then that's going to give me a free bonus action from about 5 cards. So I think I'm going to try to purchase and play this card. And it's also going to add a road. Let's see what I can do here. So I get 1 rupee, add this to my court. I'll put it over here. So my court is maxed out right now, but this adds, if you can see it here, I'll slide it over just a bit. It's going to add a road to Kandahar. So I rule Kandahar, I don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to add a road to Kandahar, and I maybe want to move this here. And then we change the favored suit to political right here. So that uses my 2 actions. Now I have bonus actions. And I can take a bonus action from all of these cards, 1 bonus action each. You can only use 1 action from each card, even if they have more than 1. So the first thing I think I'm going to do is right here from this card. You can see the move action. So I'm going to take that as a free action or bonus action. And we're going to go back to Kandahar, and I'm going to move my army over to this Punjab. So I'm going to use this bonus action to take a rank 1 battle action here. And with a rank 1 battle action, I'm just going to remove this British army. And that actually takes Afghan to the dominant coalition right now. This card's hostage, so I'd have to pay the Wakhan 1 rupee to use this card, so I'm going to hold off on this one. I'm going to use this battle action here as a bonus action. And then remove 1 British army. Then I could have a bonus action from each of these cards. This card's held hostage, but even though it is, the special ability is still not held hostage, meaning if I take a tax action, I can act like I rule every region. Guess it doesn't really do me any good because the Wakhan doesn't have rupees right now. But we use the tax action here, and I'm going to get 1 rupee from the market. Might as well use it. I'm going to take this from Karakul Sheep since there's a good chance the Wakhan could get that. Since I have the dominant coalition, I think I'm just going to pay the hostage. I'm going to pay the bribe here and take the build action. So I pay the Wakhan 1 rupee. And then use 2 rupees. Pay those to the market. And I'm going to build in a region I rule. I'm going to build one army in Kandahar. So now Afghan is the dominant coalition again. And that ends my turn. I have a maxed out court. Don't have to discard any cards there. Hand size is okay. Then I just help the market out here. Disregard for customs or courtly manners comes out. Okay, so now we go back to the Wakhan's turn. Flip over the top card here. And we go to the top action. If political cards are favored, radicalize the highest rank economic card. So let's do that. We go to the market. and radicalize the highest ranked economic card. The Wakhan has 1 rupee right now. This one in the 0 cost column is the highest ranked economic card, so she radicalizes that one. She has 2 rupees now and puts this card to the right of her court. Right over here, scoot these down just a little bit. And she's going to add 2 British roads in Herat. By the way, she's got to pay me a bribe because I rule Herat, so she pays me 1 rupee, which is good. Maybe I can buy the dominance check if I can hold that lead. But she's going to resolve these impact icons and add 2 British roads in Herat, which still gives me the lead of the dominant coalition as Afghan. So she places these roads in Herat, and the first one's going to go on the border between Herat and Persia. And the second one's going to go on the border of, that's Punjab, Kandahar, so Herat and Kandahar, since they border each other right here. Okay, so that's action number 1. And then the next one is radicalize the highest ranked political card. So if we go to the market, the highest ranked political card, there are no political cards, so she'll skip that action. Then she'll just take the plain radicalize action. So since there's a dominant coalition, she's going to radicalize any Afghan patriot, but there's none in the market. So she's going to radicalize the card that places the most armies and or roads that she can afford, and that's going to be this European cannons. This is a powerful card. I don't like her buying that one. So she pays a rupee to the market, radicalizes this card. This gets added to the right of her court over here. This one is probably going to take us back to an unsuccessful dominance check. Of course, just going back and forth with this game. So in Transcaspia, she's going to add 3 armies that are British. Transcaspia is not ruled by anyone, so she just adds those. And now Afghan is not the dominant coalition again, which par for the course. So that uses her 2 actions. She can take a bonus action from this card. She doesn't have enough rupees to use this one, and there's none on this card. So that ends her turn. She's got to discard down to 5 cards in her court. She has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So she'll discard 2. First thing, her non-political cards remain. Non-patriot cards remain. And then down to these 2, there's no spies or spies on these cards, so then it's lowest rank. This is the one that gets discarded first. And then this one gets discarded second. Now she's down to 5 cards. Then we clean up the market. That slides down here. Now if that dominance check card comes out, we resolve a dominance check right away. We're tied. I might have to look for the red stars. Red stars come into play. If you're tied for score, red stars break the tie that are in your court. I have 2 red stars here. The Wakhan has none. Right now there's no dominant coalition, and we're tied for amount of cylinders that are in play. So it would come down to just the red stars. Yikes. I see this card, Riots in Herat, here. If this card gets discarded, it's going to remove my armies and my tribe from Herat. I really don't want to see that happen. I'll use my first action to get rid of this card. If purchased, then nationalism. Your tribes may move in battle as if they were armies until the next dominance check. So I'm going to do that. I get 1 rupee from it too. So take my rupee. I'm going to tuck that over here until the next dominance check. That saves me. Now I'm just going to use a lot of my bonus actions again and see what I can do. First thing I'm going to do is, well, I probably shouldn't do this, but at the start of my turn, I'm going to place one of my spies on a Kandahar card over here. I know it's a little backwards. I should have done that first and then purchased. I hope you let it slide. Then we're going to use this one for the bonus action in battle on the map. So I want to get rid of British. And so first thing I'm going to do is get rid of one of, actually, let's do the Kabul. So I'm going to get rid of this British army here. Bam. gone. I'm going to go back here, and then we're going to use this battle action from Haji. Good old Haji, he's going to help me out. And we're going to get rid of a British road right here. Bam. What else can I do? Now, I have a couple more actions here. I think I might as well use this move action and move this army back to Kandahar just in case she's able to take out my army with a battle action. I'm going to take this tax action for 1 here and tax the market and take it off of this card because this will probably be the one the Wakhan gets. And then I don't want to use this build action, but I have one more action remaining. And I think I'm going to use this build action right here and build, spend 2, and add those to these market cards. And I can build in a region I rule, and this will give me the dominant coalition. Oh, I can't do it. I just want to buy that dominance check card this turn, and I don't think I can do it. Build in a region I rule, put this in Persia, and go back here. And so I can't really use this one. It's being held hostage. I use my 2 actions. So I'm done. I have a full court. I don't have to discard any cards. So I just refresh the market and move these cards down. Come on, dominance check. That dominance check card comes out. They resolve right now, and it's double points. This is a 4th one. Woo! Yeah! Yes! I'm excited. Can you tell? Nothing but luck there. The dominance check comes out, and when there's 2 dominance check cards in the market, they resolve instantly. You have a dominance check, and in this case, they're doubled. If we look here, Afghan is the dominant coalition. I messed up my light here, so sorry. So Afghan is the dominant coalition. There's 4 blocks more than any other coalition in play. And so both of these cards go. Dominance check points are doubled since this will be the 4th dominance check. And the 4th dominance check, even though it's the 3rd and the 4th, it counts as the 4th and final, so points are doubled. And then we look at how many loyalty points to Afghan each player has. And right now I have 1, I have 2, I have 3 with this prize. And my opponent here, the Wakhan, has 1 and 2 with the loyalty. So for this dominance check, since I have 3 loyalty points and the Wakhan has 2 loyalty points to Afghan, I'll get 5, normally 5. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus the points are doubled, so 5 more. So it goes up to 16. And then the Wakhan would get just 6 points. She'd be in 2nd place and get 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's normally 3, but since they're doubled, and so the game final points of the game is 16 to 12. Purely by luck, I figured the Wakhan would do that and then break my dominant coalition again, and we just kind of go back and forth, and it was kind of rough there. And that's the game. Thanks for watching, and if you like this kind of playthrough, let me know in the comments, and remember to like, subscribe, and if you're into this channel, I really appreciate it if you check out Patreon, looking for channel supporters over there as well. Take care, and we'll talk to you next time.